I'm in the group right now. I have that on the other screen. Awesome. Bismillah. So we are live. Let me just double check in the group, see that everything is going on. See that it's properly displaying, and then we'll go ahead and get started. One sec. Awesome. So I see we're live here. Just refreshing the group. And let's see. Won't be long, brother. Loading up here. Taking a bit longer than usual. But it does say we're live. We got 2 viewers in already. Okay, awesome. Go ahead and scrolling through and... Man, this is like so suspenseful. All right. So I think we're good. I think we're live. I think it's broadcasting. Yes, we are live. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is kind of like an impromptu live to everyone watching. The reason why I wanted to do this and why I wanted to go live is because I have with me right now Abdul-Rahman, and he is a mindset, stress relief, stress management coach. And he's going to talk with us today about how to relieve stress in this difficult time where we're going through quarantines and coronavirus and a global crisis. And there's so many things going on outside of us that we can't control. But how can we manage our reaction to it? How can we manage our stress levels? So I just want to say assalamu alaikum. Abdul-Rahman, how's it going today?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, I'm very honored to be on the live with you and to be amongst brothers and sisters in this situation.
Definitely, alhamdulillah. I'm really happy that you're here and that you're willing to share your expertise with us, my man. So just to kind of start things off before we really dive into the meat and bones of our discussion, which is how to relieve stress in such a difficult time. What can we do to manage our stress levels, to do things that help improve our mindset and stay productive during this time? Before we dive right in, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of what you do and how you came to become this mindset stress management coach? Then just kind of quick version of that story to share with people.
Yeah, definitely. My background, education background, teacher of science, English, maths, adults and children. And I actually started off as a TA, and I was had a child who had extreme anger management issues, used to throw chairs, tables. And over a 6-month period, with a little bit of trial and error, I was giving him tools and strategies to be able to manage his anger. And it took about 6 months. He learned how to master that for himself. So they no longer needed me. Now, when I went into education, a lot of the kids had a lot of issues, stress, anger, suicidal thoughts. And that was a barrier for them to actually benefit in the classroom. Right. So I was starting to deal with those issues on a day-to-day basis. And, you know, I realized I'm actually slightly better at dealing with the emotional than I am as a teacher. And then after that, I started to help out in the community. It was just voluntarily. I'd kind of be the soundboard in the community.
Right.
And after a while, I started to then look at coaching once I had my own coach. And she was like, look, you don't need any more qualifications. Just start coaching.
Right.
I started to get clients.
That's
slowly,
awesome.
I started to get clients, yeah.
That just one thing before we kind of move on, because you point out something interesting, and I feel it stops a lot of people here, probably in this group, from kind of taking action. Sometimes they believe like, okay, if I wanted to start, some sort of coaching or consulting business, or if I wanted to start an online business with something that have experience in, just like you, how you help that child, deal with something super difficult and overcome that in itself was the catalyst to kind of you building this business. And it was enough. Like, you didn't need a million qualifications. You didn't need a graduate degree in a million things, or in psychology or whatever. What do you have to say to like people that believe like, okay, I can't really start a coaching or consulting business because I don't have a million accreditations, or I don't have a ton of experience. I don't have some sort of degree in what I want to do.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. I would say, look at your history. How many people have you helped already that you didn't have a qualification for? And right. Qualification is something of, in the last 10, 20 years. But prior to that, there were people that were the village elders, there were the prophets, there were wise people, and they were doing this all without qualifications, and they were still benefiting and transforming people's lives. And if you could probably find 10 people that your advice or your space that you've given them has allowed them to transform their life and their marriage. So you're already a coach, you're just not calling it coaching sessions or consulting sessions, you're just having a chat.
That's
you're
it.
already a coach. Yeah.
Right. Definitely, 100%. That's what a lot of people need to realize. And I really appreciate you saying that, Abdul-Rahman. Barakallah feek. It's that like a lot of times we believe like there's this huge barrier between us and what we want to do or what kind of business we want to build. But when you really boil it down, there's always something that you can do to get started right now. And just with using your experience, the things that you've been through, you're able to do something. If you're able to help others, then you need to go ahead and put it out there, put your skills and put out your value to the world.
Definitely.
So that brings us to kind of, before we actually start talking about today's discussion, which is like kind of how to deal with this whole situation. Can you share about what you do right now with people? So if someone wants to come and work with you, Abdul-Rahman, what do you usually help them deal with? What do you help them overcome? What kind of issues are you helping people solve?
So, yeah, the main issues that a lot of people come down with is their mindset and their emotional management. So as parents and as educators, how many times do we actually teach people how to manage stress, anxiety, or low mood? So the sort of things that I work with people on are addictions, right? People that have got things related to overeating, and I get a lot of business people that want to know how to manage their stress and also manage their teams, right? How to have better communication with their teams and in their relationships, so that their relationships are more productive without the emotional outbursts. So this sometimes between husband and wife, between children. Any type of relationship between two people or relationship with themselves, there's always another level of emotional management that I can bring to the table.
And something that I feel like there is something that needs to be said about this, which is that a lot of people might take a little bit lightly. It's that not dealing with these things, like when you're stressed out and when you have these issues that are happening in your life, when you have these problems that might arise due to your mindset, due to your state, the repercussions on the things around you are so massive, even though you might not realize them. And sometimes just kind of changing your mindset, taking care of that issue that's inside of you that might be causing these problems will really change your life in a transformational way. What do you think about that?
No, 110%. Something that motivated me to get out there was the statistic that 110 million people die a year from stress.
Wow.
So stress is a bigger killer than coronavirus, and knowing how to deal with that and manage that is the difference between a happy home, a happy individual, a happy Muslim, and a shorter lifespan. It's huge.
100%. Wow. So that brings us to today's discussion, which is, we know right now a lot of people are kind of overcome with stress with this situation. I mean, some people have lost their jobs. Some people are kind of locked away from their jobs. They can't go to work. They can't go out there and make a living, pay for their families, and kind of take care of them. So what are some ways that they can deal with this situation? What are some ways that they can kind of help relieve this, just the sudden outburst of change that just it's kind of like a truck that hit their life right now and turned it upside down? How does someone deal with that? Just like such a sudden transformation in your surroundings and in your environment. What can you do to deal with such a change? What can you do?
Okay, there are numerous techniques, but the one that I always like to start my coaching programs with is unveiling the biggest lie. And it's the biggest lie in sales and marketing. That emotions and happiness comes from things, or stress comes from situations. So some people say, "Oh, this holiday will make you happy." In reality, it's our thoughts about the situation, right? Me and you may have seen our brothers and sisters in Syria, and one child, he actually lost all of his limbs, but he was really, really happy. And the interviewer asked him, "Why are you so happy?" He said, "Because my limbs have gone to Jannah."
Wow. SubhanAllah.
He said, "Because my limbs have gone to Jannah before me, that's why I'm still happy. I'm just going to meet them shortly."
SubhanAllah.
Now, somebody else in the same situation will be freaking out, pulling out their hair, crying, depressed, anxious. So is it the situation that's making them stressed? It's not. It's their perception. So the first thing that I like to do with clients is write down what is stressing them out and where's the opportunity. Right? What's the positives? Can you name 5 or 6 positives in this stressful situation?
That's powerful. And how would someone do that? So like they just kind of take a paper, write it down.
Take a paper
What's the
and
best way to
pen.
go for it?
Yeah, you could take a paper and pen, or we can do this live. I don't mind. You ask me, for example,
Yeah.
6 benefits. I'm asking you 6 benefits to your life of the lockdown. What would you say?
100%. There's when you think about it honestly, and when you truly take the time to drill down, there's so many. Let me go ahead and give you 6 right now, inshallah, off the top of my head. Number 1, I feel that it's allowed me honestly a chance to kind of reconnect with the people that truly matter to me and the people that I love, right? Like you're calling your loved ones more often, you're checking on them more often, making sure that they're okay. You're spending time in this quarantine. You want to make sure you're spending time with the people that you love, surrounding yourself with the people that you actually care about. And so it kind of really helps show you that these problems, these things that happen outside, they tend to bring you closer together, right? When times are rough, you have people that you can get closer together with. So alhamdulillah, that's been a great blessing. Number 2, I think a really big one for me is just taking this time to refocus on my priorities in my business, right? Like before this time in my business, I was really focused on sales. I was really focused on marketing. It was kind of like the big thing that I was spending most of my time on. But now that it's happening and kind of sales are completely slowed down, marketing is slowed down, I have to focus, okay, what else can I work on, right? If I can't be selling because no one wants to buy right now in this environment, well, you know what? I can focus on actually helping people and giving value for free and just building relationships and building a community of people that, believe in what I believe in, that want to be entrepreneurs, that want Muslim entrepreneurship to be a thing in our ummah. So that's been amazing. And honestly, I've enjoyed it so far. This is a great opportunity for me to even connect with you, right? Like that's the third thing is we got to connect together through this quarantine, right? Because it happened, we got the chance to connect and talk and get on life and help people, alhamdulillah. Let me give you three more real quick. I'm not gonna take too much of your time. Let's see. Number 4, I think it's allowed me, number 1, to be like more spiritual as well, right? Because now you have more time to actually focus in your prayers, more time to kind of just think about, wow, like these things that happen around you, no matter how much you plan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has his own plans, and you're going to have to keep adjusting to that, right? Like you're going to have to keep making sure that you just go with the flow and do the best that you can, because you don't really have control over all of these external things that happen to you. And sometimes we have the illusion that we do, right? If like a long time goes and then we're, things are rolling the way we want them to, like we start to believe like, oh wait, I have control over this. I'm a boss, right? And subhanAllah, I think this is a big wake-up call for a lot of people, including myself. But yeah, man, these are just a few. I mean, I don't want to take too much. But
that's amazing. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, man. Alhamdulillah.
And I read a post the other day, and they said, all the pubs and clubs and lewd behavior and a lot of things have cut down. And now people that weren't questioning it, is there a God? They're starting to think, is there a God? And even me being at home more, He's given me time to focus on relationship with Allah. It has, ultimately.
Yeah, 100%. Of course. I think for a lot of people, I mean, you can see even a lot of people commenting like, oh, I'm taking this time to kind of read more Quran. I'm taking this time to pray more. People are like doing du'as all over. So subhanAllah, it's like kind of the world was just going like 100% of the time. There's traffic. There's like people are just going. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, all right, the world needs to take a break and the world needs to stop. And it's like, subhanAllah, all of a sudden, it's like everyone's praying. Everyone's like reconnecting spiritually. And it's just
amazing. It's beautiful.
SubhanAllah, yeah, seriously. I personally think it's beautiful, man. I think it's something that the world needed in a way, because I feel like we're just
a wake-up call.
Yeah, man, we're always going, and sometimes you just kind of need to be forced to stop and reevaluate. Like, okay, but where am I going? Right? Like I'm always running, but towards what and why? What are my priorities? So it's definitely something to think about that I think is a positive out of what's happening right now. To kind of bring things back again to kind of, we just spoke of such a good point, which is to look at the positives in this situation. What are some ways that someone can deal? I mean, we're saying that, but let's say, for example, someone's like, yeah, that is awesome, but I am in a situation where I've lost my job, or I've lost kind of the income that I was making for my family. And that's like, it's hard for me to look at that positively. Like, I am praying, I'm doing my du'as, but I need to make sure my family's fed. Like, how can a person like that deal with the situation, right? Where they might be in a tight spot? What can they do?
So there's two things, right? Now, there are things that are in your control, right? What can this person do to empower himself so he doesn't feel um, like a victim? He or she doesn't feel like a victim.
Yeah.
Can he apply for online jobs? Can he start a business? Can he have work from home, maybe? Right? Can he look at and learn another skill set in this time, which will allow him to be able to access those other jobs, which may be online, etc. Right?
Yeah.
That is in his control. Number two, from another practical thing, is look at your expenses. Right
100%.
now, you
That's true.
print out that sheet, your bank statements, and go with a fine-tooth comb. Start eliminating. I am sure you can find a couple £100, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any savings, right? Do you have investments that now you can cash in on, right? And you know, in UK, for example, they're freezing the mortgage payments, they're freezing certain tax payments. Is anything you're eligible to? So that in every situation, there is always some positive action, but there's things that you need to focus on, or things that are in your control. The things you are not in your control is up to Allah, and that's always been the case. No one complains about their heartbeat. Allah's been taking care of that since we were born. No one's complaining about their digestion. Allah was taking care of that.
That's
and
true.
all the billions of other things that Allah is managing, no one's complaining about the oxygen rate is not coming fast enough.
Yeah.
So the little that we're actually in control of is really only 10%, or even less than that.
100%.
Those things we need to focus on.
That's true. Wow, subhanAllah. That just puts it into perspective, right? And you mentioned a point that I think is super powerful, but not a lot of people feel safe to talk about, and it's really take a cold, hard look at your expenses. And I like the fact that you said that. And that's something that a lot of people are scared to kind of like just even say out loud, right? Like people, it's like, oh no, keep your lifestyle and everything. Don't worry, we'll deal with it. And it's like, no, like listen, if you're in a situation where you feel like you're going to struggle financially, you need to start to reevaluate, okay, what kind of lifestyle am I living? And do I need to make changes to that lifestyle? And I definitely personally believe that sometimes like people do tend to like extravagant, it's how it kind of like blow up their lifestyle, their way of living a little bit more than they should, especially in this day and age. You kind of feel like we want to be pampered all the time, right? We want to have everything instantly accessible, instant gratification. We're always addicted to that dopamine hit. And so it's a good way to just kind of take a step back and realize, okay, what do I truly need? Like, do I need that like a million like Netflix and Comcast and a million subscriptions? Do I need like a smartphone? Can I just switch back to something with no data? Do I need data? Can I just do Wi-Fi for now? Little things like that you might not even think about, but I mean, it's practical and it'll help you, inshallah. So it's just a great point that you brought up, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Awesome. So to kind of keep things moving, inshallah, and I really appreciate you sharing all your tricks and techniques with us. Can you give us one more thing, just kind of one last thing that people can do right now in this time, or actually like a tip of how to use this time productively, right? For someone that's like, all right, I'm in lockdown, I'm okay. How can I use this time to the best of my ability so I can come out there off the other side stronger, better? What can they do?
Okay, so this time you could consider like spiritual hibernation, right? So I suggest that firstly, to get yourself in the correct mindset, is have an exercise routine, 10
100%.
minutes a day, right? My philosophy is I have to sweat. In those 10 minutes, by hook or crook, you must sweat.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
And that actually will allow you to be able to, one, manage stressful situations, two, be able to come up with the correct action and manage your emotions. And at least physically, you'll be able to carry out with your daily tasks. So productivity, I would say, start looking at, we're 1 month away from Ramadan.
It's true.
Start looking at, we've got the time now, start looking at, can I make a schedule, right? Make a schedule which needs four elements. I call it my off. My time, your time, our time, and family time, right?
Beautiful.
Right? My time, your time, our time, and family time. Right? And if you need any assistance with that, I can always help, and Brother Abby can help. But you need to now schedule your time and have goals now. Exercise goals, community goals, spirituality goals, personal development. You know, you've got time to read, you've got time to study Arabic. Now you've got time to even open up that business that you always wanted.
100%.
You've got the time.
100%.
Right? But this opportunity won't be here forever.
Yeah.
Right? We don't know how long this will be available. So those people who recognize the opportunity, they're going to benefit. But I would say the key thing now is to schedule your time and get in an exercise routine.
100%. That's, I think, I mean, I love for the ones that you would, this is a new concept that I think I've never heard of, the MyOff, that it's not something that you've come up with. I love it. It's super unique. And I also love the exercise thing, because for me, I lost a really important part of my routine, which is the gym. I love going to the gym in the mornings, and now it's completely on lockdown, and there's no way that you can go. So I'm like, okay, what's the next best thing that I can do? And you just open up YouTube, type in home workout for whatever body part you want to do. If you want to do upper body, lower body, chest, back, whatever it is that you're trying to do, there's going to be a video that's going to walk you through it, and it's going to be 10 minutes or less, I guarantee you. So just go in there, go on YouTube. There's a bunch of free videos, exercise routines. You don't need to complicate yourself and complicate your life, or hire a personal trainer. Just go through one of those videos and follow along. And that's enough to kind of get you in that right mindset where you bring that attention back out of your mind and into your body, which is why I think exercise is so powerful. Is because it kind of brings the focus away from the mind and all of these thoughts that sometimes might get a little overbearing, and brings the focus back to the body, which I think is something that we need to do at least once a day to just reconnect with ourselves, right?
Definitely.
So I think it's a really powerful suggestion. And the MyOff thing is interesting. Can you actually elaborate a little bit more on that? So what's my time, what's your time, what's our time, and so family time is obvious, but what's my time, your time, and our time? What are these three distinctions? I love if you could explain more.
So, you know, as a teacher, the concept that we came up with was, you can't spend 100% of your time on anything. Right? You can't give 100% focus to your kids all the time. You need my time, and my time is your time to de-stress. Now, there are de-stress techniques, one of them being exercise, there's others, journaling, etc. But my time is a time where you spend with your thoughts, you can spend it with Allah, you spend it to really reground yourself. And a lot of billionaires, millionaires, psychologists, they do their meditation, for example. That 20 minutes, they don't leave it.
Of course.
Right? Your time, if you've got a spouse, right, is time where your spouse has her or his me time.
Okay. And you kind of allow that to happen.
You facilitate that. Right. You let them recharge so that when they do come back into the family, they're on their A game. Right? Our time is husband and wife spending time together, if you have husband and wife, right? And family time is now the family coming together. So that could be a Skype meeting, it could be a Zoom meeting, right? But don't think that when someone is having their time, you can't sit next to them and do your own thing at the same time.
100%.
You don't have to go and isolate into another room. But they recognize, okay, mummy or daddy or husband and wife or brother or sister, at this 20 minutes, this 30 minutes a day, they're doing their thing. Unless it's an emergency, I'm going to let them have that. I'm going to let them have that to recharge.
Okay.
And that makes you more effective when you play those other roles, when you've allocated time.
100%. That makes sense. So honestly, I didn't look at it that way. I love the explanation that you gave. And I think the importance of not only taking time for yourself, but allowing the other partner to take time for themselves as well, right? Which you kind of allow for that. Because if the other person doesn't want to allow that to happen, and you're going to have a hard time, and they're going to get offended, they're going to get hurt. So I think it's an awesome concept, and it's interesting that you put both in there, and I think it's for a good reason. So Abdul-Rahman, again, I just want to thank you, honestly, my brother, for coming on this live, because just so far you've shared so many golden nuggets, mashallah, just actionable steps that people can take right now to kind of make a difference and turn things around for themselves, right? Like they're in a situation where they feel like they might be a bit lost. They might be a bit taken by surprise. Their job might have been taken away from them. And you've given us actionable steps that we can take to make a difference. So I just want to thank you for that so much, man. So if someone wants to they love what you said right now, they love these steps that you're giving them, but they need a little bit more help. They need a little bit more kind of attention, more care. They want to be able to work with someone where they can really get their hands held, and they can be like, all right, this is how you do it, and I'm going to hold you accountable, and I'm going to make sure that you get it right. What can they do? Can they reach out to you? What can they do in that situation?
Yep. You know, I've got a link I can book in. You can have a phone call with me, no obligation phone call. We can discuss some strategies that you can work on for your own personal situation to decrease that stress, to ground you, to start building a 24 schedule, and look at how we can comb through those finances. So the link, I think, should be available in the comments section, just to book a 30-minute call to reach out and come up with
100%.
some tools together to take you to the next level. And you can always message me as well. I'm on Facebook. I'm available. I'm also a member of the Ummahpreneur. Is that how you pronounce it?
That's right. That's the group. Right. That's it.
So I'll keep my nose in there and be around.
Awesome. Alhamdulillah. Okay, that's awesome, man. So I'm going to drop your link in the comments right now for anyone that wants to go ahead and just get a little bit more help. They want to talk to you. They appreciated what you've shared, and they'd like to just chat with you, tell you maybe a bit about their situation, and you can tell them how you can help a little bit further. But again, Jazakallah khair. Just thank you for coming on the live right now, for sharing some of your expertise and your time with us. And I'll make sure that we post that link in the comments right away so that people can reach out.
Jazakallahu khairan.
All right, brother. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.